So I've actually found this. So I'm gonna be using that. I also found this. This would be fun. You know, you can always do like, you don't have to use black for this. You can do any color you want. It's still gonna be two values. Whatever's darker than white, you can use. You can do it with a really light gray. Anyways, so I do think it's important to get a kind of bigger marker. Like I can use this one like this. That's pretty big. You know, I can also do that, but I would avoid anything smaller. Honestly, anything smaller than this. This was the pen I was using earlier, and that's about the same size actually. This is a pretty big drawing actually, so compared to the other ones. So how I want to get into this, I'm gonna say this is where you really want to keep reminding yourself to simplify things. I'm gonna start with her eyeball here, so I'm just gonna do, there you go, that's her top lash line. You know, it's a big marker. I'm not really worried about, you know, if this is, there you go, I got a little bit of her bang. These are gonna kind of look like eyelashes, so I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing. Maybe I'll do one here, you know. There you go, there's her eye, that's it. Like, that's literally it. Let's do like some for her hair. Sometimes I will hatch a little bit, you know, like right here. It doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be a geometric shape, but you want to use the big shapes as the most geometric, and then the littler ones as, you know, however else you want to do it. Let's say something like this. There is kind of a cast shadow being put onto her face. That's not, this isn't where her face ends, it's where her hair is putting a shadow on her. But you're gonna group it together anyways. It's gonna read how it's meant to read. I would say these are like, these two light shapes are way separate, so I'm not even gonna try to connect them. I'm kind of outlining them first. I'm still, like, I'm honestly still in the straight line construction phase. Okay, and then I can, I don't know, do I want to fill this in? I like this little shape in her hair that shows the separation, so I'll fill that in. Where is this being? There's a light shape there. So this is all in shadow. So, you know, something I like to do when I'm doing these, I kind of I don't want it to be like pitch black in the shadows. That's just a personal thing. You can do pitch black, it'll look really good still. But I like something, if I do another lesson, I'll do light logic, so I'll explain why I like my shadows to be not pitch black. This is kind of a dried out marker, which is like perfect. So going to her chin, put this hard angular line. This is where her likeness comes in. You know, you don't have to overthink every single line ever, dude. Like, seriously. Sometimes I'll mess up a little. Sometimes I'll kind of go over somewhere that I didn't mean to go over. It's okay. You don't have to, like, totally follow all the rules of the reference. If you mess up and something kind of looks good as another way, just do it, you know? You're not super tied to I'm not super tied to this one picture. If I wanted to do that, I'd just take another picture, you know? There's just elements of design that you have to think about. But that's kind of advanced, I don't know. I don't know if I should be talking about that. I'll do this, her separation of her hair. I would say this part of her hair, you know, kind of like this little halo part, like that. That part's pretty dark. I would say that's a shadow. Because, you know, the light is hitting here, but, you know, as her head kind of turns this way, kind of turns that way, the light isn't going to reach it because there's no overhead lighting. It's being cast from the side. So I'll color this in. Leave that gap in her bangs. Damn, this marker is low-key really dry. Just kind of working on her hair. I want to leave some of the parts of her eyebrow that I kind of see here, but I won't put all of it. You know, this is a really this isn't really a line. It's a small shape. It's a small shadow being cast through her bangs. There's shadows on her face there. You know, so that's what I'm trying to do. You know, it can be really small like that, but it's still a shape. It's still a block-in shape. What I don't want to encourage is like, especially in this stage, I forgot to mention this. You don't want to be like, okay, this is, you know, let me say I start this eye. I don't want to be like, okay, this is my eye that I'm drawing, and this is where the eyelashes are, and this is, you know, where this is gonna be. You don't want to get really obsessed with capturing features. You don't. It's gonna hurt you more than it's gonna help you. You can learn how to draw eyes on your own time, but learning how to simplify them on people and still make it look like the person that you're trying to draw, that's something that is way more rewarding. It's gonna be way more impressive. I put in a little line for her waterline just because I think it looks good. You know, it's not actually there. It's not a big shape. It's still gonna be there. She has a little her double eyelid. You can see it there. That hits the light. That's a form that hits the light. So I'm gonna do that, and then this is where her kind of that's where the shadow's being cast. This is a really complicated one, actually. You know, I'm trying to be really thorough with this one, but honestly, the simpler the better. You know, it's so true. Yeah, this is a pretty big one, so I'm like scribbling. Okay, so her eyes are there. That's about it. I'll put it in a line there. Yeah, that kind of looks like her a little bit. We're getting there. I'll put in her nostril here. Trying to think of the nostril as a shape. It is a super round shape here, but you know, I'm not gonna make it a circle. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna think about the form. Where is it turning? It looks more like a triangle here. Again, you got this pretty round bulb of the nose. I'm gonna, and this nose is a pretty confusing area. You kind of don't know where on the nose. Like obviously the shadow's being cast, but where does the shadow end? Because that's where the shape kind of gets really confusing. And what you want to do is just blur your eyes and literally look at it like you're looking at her from super far away, and just make an educated guess. It's gonna look way better when I do you know, this kind of shape that kind of resembles her nose, rather than like I'm trying to capture this nostril and then this is all light. It's just not gonna look as good. So I'm gonna do that. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, you can see, you don't know where the nostril is there, but you know that the nostril is there, but you can't see where it is. I did leave this one kind of soft a little bit. That's a different discussion though of where to put that, but you know, you can always do that. Let's see. I'm gonna mark where the edge of her mouth is. I kind of look at, you know, this muscle on her face is kind of, you know, you see this in like smile lines or whatever. This kind of line, usually the mouth will fit under there. That's just a proportion thing. You just want to see like, okay, if I drop this, if I make a line here, what falls exactly on that line, you know? And that's what I do when I'm drawing. Still kind of being pretty straight with this. So this is all shadow, I'd say. I don't know if I want to keep her teeth in. I kind of think her teeth are cute, and it like kind of makes it look more like her. I don't know. I can figure that out as I go. So here's our bottom lip. And then we got the cast shadow. This is a pretty sharp line right there, so I'm pressing kind of hard. It doesn't really get soft over here. You know, we still get that kind of illusion. It kind of gets up a little bit under there. Yeah, I think I'll keep her teeth. Her teeth are cute. Or at least a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna keep this top lip kind of. No, I'm gonna get rid of her teeth. Maybe I'll leave it like a little bit like right there. Yeah, there you go. See, you can use. I just made my lines a little bit less generous, and you know, you still get the feeling that there's like something in her mouth. You know. Right here, it's all light. It's all light right here. There's no real line, but I'm still gonna put a little bit in. I'm just gonna. This is like kind of fun. I'm not being serious shadow shapes right now. I'm just kind of going back, seeing where if I missed anything. I'm looking back and forth between, you know, this picture. It didn't come out that good, honestly, but that's okay. You know, it's there. It's just kind of hard to draw. Like, I'm literally sitting like so crazy right now. It's hard to draw with this tripod and stuff, but that's the gist. You can literally do this with anything. You can do it with objects. You can do it with landscapes. People make them all the time. You know, it's good for thumbnails. It's good for just practicing proportion, everything. I use it every day I go to school. Yeah. I'm just kind of trying to fix some things. I think I made her face a little too long. Yeah, her eyes are definitely too high, but that's okay. So you still kind of get the vibe. I'm gonna actually put this closer, so you really look like that's a shadow. I'm trying to look back and forth. There's kind of a line here that I missed. That kind of shows where her nose is in the planes. Yeah, I would say that's about done. Yeah, I could have fixed this shape a little bit more. That's kind of not really reading, but that's about the idea. I mean, yeah.